Oh, hello there. Today I thought we'd talk about the various types of dumbbells. For today's video, I thought we would talk about the different types of dumbbells, be it adjustable or something more traditional like these reps or rogues. If you can't tell already, I prefer individual dumbbells, but I understand why somebody would get adjustables. If you're low on space, adjustables can make sense, so let's tackle those first. I'll tell you right now, when I had the chance, I sold my old adjustables, but I do have experience with things like the Power Block Elite, the Core Home Fitness, and the Bowflexes. So why did I sell them? To me, the situation with this type was always the same. I was a little leery of having a little piece of plastic or a small switch mechanism being the one thing between the plate and my teeth. With that being said, I liked the Core Home Fitness version the best. When you pulled the plates off the Core Home Fitness, it felt and looked like a dumbbell. Unlike the Bowflex, which is just a monster in width, no matter what you're doing with it. And the Power Blocks, there's just too much going on. Like I said, I don't like all the little parts and pieces. I don't find the price between most of these systems to be much of a factor, at least between each other. Compared to a set of dumbbells, they're a lot cheaper. I mean, why are these women always fighting somebody? I guess I'm using my dumbbells wrong? Okay, so you're probably asking, why fix dumbbells? Well, to me, they're more convenient. If I want to do a superset or a drop set, I don't have anything to change. If I'm working out with multiple people and I'm using the 70s, they can use the 50s. And they're more durable. There's no extra parts and pieces to break. Now let's talk about some of the differences between dumbbells, specifically Rogue and Rep. They both have 4 lines going for them. They have a rubber-coated hex, which I own both brands of, and you see here, a urethane that, in my opinion, is too expensive and overkill for a home gym, and an adjustable, which is a style I don't like because the handle digs into you on certain exercises. Rogue has a generic that's sourced from wherever they can get it, and it's actually more expensive than their brand, so I'd avoid those. And Rep has a rubber handle model I've heard good things about, but I don't own. You got all that? Good. So let's go over my preference, which is Rogue and Rep hex dumbbells. Hell, even my dog loves these things. Give her some credit. She's working her way up from those 5s. This is not doctored at all. You might be thinking, why not just get something generic like Cap? They're all made in the same factory. Well, even if they were, there's a big quality difference between that and this. Price per pound, you're probably not going to find anything cheaper than Cap. But there are some differences. Rep's dumbbells are friction welded, which essentially means they're pushed together while being spun rapidly to form one piece. Rogue says they have some proprietary system to keep theirs from coming apart. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I do trust the brand name. Other companies have systems that screw on or are put together poorly, and when they come off, they don't go back on. Another thing you have to worry about is the consistency and the quality of what you're getting. The consistency on my Rogue is a little better than my Reps, but they're both pretty high, and they're both very high quality hex dumbbells. The consistency on lesser companies can be all over the place, and they can come from different factories. A big difference and benefit Rep has is their dumbbells have a lifetime home warranty, which is a huge selling point. Price-wise, since Rep's adjusted their prices lately, they're exactly the same. Something people don't normally think about when they're buying dumbbells is how they're going to be shipped to them. When I got my Reps, I had a huge order. Plates, bumpers, a bench, so it came on a crate, and it was packaged really well, but I can't say it's always like that. Unfortunately, my Rogues were all packaged individually. I have 75 up to 100 pounds, and they were packaged in a cardboard box, and pretty much every box was destroyed, though all the dumbbells were basically mint. Now that's not to say Rep package is better. Theirs were in a box too, but it was also inside the crate, so it might have just been the size of the order. Also, be prepared for your excitement when you get that in the cart to wear away a little bit, because that shipping kills you. The last real differences between these two are the handle and the rubber used. Rogue has a harder, or what feels like maybe a better, stronger quality rubber, whereas Reps are a little softer, pretty much like what everybody else has. I haven't found a difference when dropping them. The Rogues don't do any damage either. So if you're worried about that, I haven't noticed a difference. The last difference, and probably the biggest difference, is the handle. Rep has a uniform thickness handle that is knurled fully across, and Rogue has that kind of generic ergonomic handle where there's knurling and then chrome. Honestly, it might sound like a bit of a cop-out, but I'm not sure which one's better. If I had a generic dumbbell, I don't think I'd go with the Rogue type, chrome and knurled, because I've had that type before, and they would slip when I would do like heavy shrugs or heavy lunges. But so far, I haven't had that issue with the Rogues, and I don't really notice the difference with the ergonomic versus the flat handle. Theoretically, the grip on the Rep should be better, And maybe if I had them on hundreds, I'd notice a difference. But the fact that at 100 pounds, the rogues aren't slipping out of my hands, I guess it's not as big of a difference as I'd think. With all that being said, even though the consistency and the quality of the rogue seemed a little bit higher, if it's all the same and they're both in stock, I think I'd probably go for a full set of reps, just because of the welded handle and maybe more importantly, the lifetime warranty. I love them both, and you can't go wrong with either. So really, it only comes down to what can you get right now. I don't think you can choose wrong. If that helps some of you and you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe so that I make more, because I'm only out here for the fame. It's getting a bit stuffy in here.